Hello everyone. Yesterday I posted a video about my grandpa, and today I'm going to be posting this video about his father, so my great-grandfather. You can see the news article on the screen. It's hard to read, but of course this was posted in the paper over 100 years ago, so it's a little rough, but I'm going to try my best to read it. Farmer drowned in Brush Creek. Ben Thatcher sacrifices his life at the expense of boy's prank. Lured to the creek by false cry for help, man drowned attempting rescue. Ben Thatcher, aged 39 years, well-known farmer, lost his life in Brush Creek Tuesday afternoon while attempting to rescue a boy whom he supposed was drowning, but who it in reported had sent up the call for help for the purpose of fooling Mr. Thatcher or someone else who might be in hearing. Two Tomlin boys were bathing in a deep hole just below Black's Run. One of them was supposedly drowning when Mr. Thatcher, who was plowing, rushed to the scene in answer to calls for help and plunged into the deep water. It is supposed that in his overheated condition, he was taken with cramps as soon as he struck the water and sank beneath the waters in a quick death. The body was not recovered until about 10 o'clock that night. The unfortunate man was an industrious and successful farmer and was well liked by his neighbors and friends. He is survived by his wife and 5 children. The funeral occurred Wednesday afternoon, burial being made in the McKee Cemetery. So what this article doesn't tell you is that my great-grandfather jumped into the water, and he had on, I would guess he had on his probably overalls, and then his heavy work boots, and he didn't take those off. He just jumped straight in. He wasn't met with cramps and went under the water. He actually was sucked down by a whirlpool, and it pulled him under, and he couldn't get out of it. Now, what happened afterwards, years later, one of those boys that played the prank on my great-grandfather had come down with, I believe it was cancer, and he wanted to make amends for his part in the prank. So he went to my grandfather's house and knocked on the door, and my grandpa answered, and the man had tears in his eyes, and he apologized for his part. And he asked my grandpa for forgiveness. And my grandpa said, "It's not my place to forgive you. That's between you and God." And then I believe that was the last time my grandpa had seen him. Now, when this happened, my grandpa, who was in school, he would have been 10 years old. He had to drop out of school, which is why he never really learned to read or write properly. But he had to drop out of school because he had to start making money to support the family at 10 years old. Because he probably, I'd say, was the oldest boy in the family at that point, or maybe not the oldest. Maybe the older ones all had to quit school and go work, but I know he had to, and he was 10. So that's the story of my great-grandpa. I wish I had a picture of him that I could show you. I don't. But this news article that's still around. I'm thankful I can share it with you, because that's pretty interesting. Um, but he is buried in McKee Cemetery with his wife, and you can find his grave picture online, and that's about it. That and this news article is about all you can find on him. So I thought I would share because it's interesting. It's a part of my family's past, and it's definitely a very sad story. So if you are in Ohio and you have anything interesting to share, any family stories, or anything at all that relates to events or people in Ohio, please feel free to share. I will research the topic and possibly do a story on it. Thanks.